the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty. I'd like to just highlight for the people in our community that are suffering virus, and we hope that these numbers stay where they're at. We feel for the families, their loved ones, for the people who are suffering, for the people who are quarantined for 14 days. We just ask prayers for the community so that we can do good and open up our city soon. Amen.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Councilors, if I may add to that, remember the Sanchez family. Leroy Bueno Sanchez, a former city councilman, former mayor, passed away. He was the former president of Louisville College. I spoke with Harpo, his brother, 2 days ago, and they're doing fine, but Bueno passed away last Friday.
Yeah, what a big loss.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would like to keep our prayers to the Juan family group South that passed away too. He was a neighbor, and we know the family, so keep our family in the prayers.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Council, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
We have a motion. A second, please.
Second?
Second by Mr. Ulibarri.
Commissioner Blanca,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Ulibarri,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero and a second by Commissioner Ulibarri. Thank you, Chairman.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
As required by the city charter, all of you know, Mayor and each councilor knows that, and the city manager and the city attorney, that our company, Baca Broadcasting, has a contract with the city for the radio shows that the staff conducts twice a month. So according to the requirement of the charter, I need to disclose that and make public disclosure.
Thank you, Mr. Baca.
And thank you, Mayor.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Sure. Approval of the minutes for April 15th. I'll entertain a motion.
So move, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Montoya, second by Mr. Baca. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Ulibarri,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Blanca.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Montoya, a second by Commissioner Blanca. Thank you, Chairman. Motion
Thank you.
carries.
Thank you. Go
We do not
ahead.
have anybody signed up for public input at this meeting.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is the presentation, the Housing Authority Finance Report by our financial specialist, Natasha Martinez.
Natasha, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. In front of you in your packet today, you have your revenue and expenditure report through April 30th, 2020. 83% of the year has lapsed. And for our dwelling rent, we're at 81%. We've had a few vacancies, and now with the coronavirus, a lot of incomes have changed. So therefore, our rents will reflect that. Our operating subsidy, we've actually accrued $724,688. Our other income that we've built out, which is also on the accrual basis, is $12,602. The transfers in is at zero right now. We do have a special meeting coming up that will address the budgeted transfers as well as the actual transfers, so we can all get it recorded properly. There were transfers made, but they weren't recorded in the areas that they need to be recorded. So next month's finance report will be reflective of all of those changes that will happen in the FAR that will be coming to you guys next week. As well as our capital fund transfer, we should be receiving that in the upcoming month as well, which was $103,000. So that is our revenues as of right now. Again, our dwelling rent is on the accrual basis, our subsidy is on the accrual basis, and our other income is on the accrual basis, and our transfers are on the cash basis. So all of those are billed and accrued. For the expenditure comparison, we are again at 83% of the year. We have employee expenses that total $507,742. We've spent 77% of our budget. We do have positions that we have consolidated. Our housing manager supervisor is our interim director, so we have cost savings there for employees. And then for operating expenses, we have $352,103, which we've spent 42%. Again, with the bar that will happen next week, that percentage will actually go down because we will have a carryover of $299,511, I believe, that will go to betterments and improvements for the rehabilitation of units that are beyond repair, or not beyond repair, but need to be repaired on the Sagebrush site. That's Yucca, Choya, Sandoval area. And so the number will go down, but we have been staying frugal, and hopefully we can get a lot of those houses rehabilitated and everything back on schedule. And so technically right now we're at 57% of our budget on the expenditure side. And I'll open up for questions.
Any questions? Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
I don't have a question, I have a comment. Last week when we discussed this, our city manager and Natasha noticed, they probably saw a blank look in my face because they noticed that I came away from the meeting with a lot of questions. And so then, thank you to the city manager and to Natasha. He arranged for last Friday. I was with the city manager and Natasha. She gave me like a 40-minute class on this whole thing of the housing. And so I have to say that tonight I feel very comfortable with what the housing staff is doing. And I believe that they are doing a good job. And also, I had mentioned to them that by chance I had been talking to the Raton city manager. And he speaks very highly of Las Vegas. But on the phone, he called me 2 days ago, and he introduced me on the phone to a man that I wanted to talk to the city manager about, and to Tasha. And so Tasha stopped, and she tells me, "Let me tell you who you're talking about." I says, "Okay, go ahead." To Mr. Terry Baca. I said, "Yeah, you know him?" She said, "Yeah, I've been working with him for a long time." So I talked to him 2 days ago, and he spoke very highly of you and the housing staff. And he spoke very positive of this agreement that we're going into with HUD. So I just wanted to say thank you to the housing staff for the job you're doing, and thank you for setting me straight on all the details last Friday.
You're very welcome, Councilor Baca.
Okay.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the Housing Director's monthly report. Right now, the priority of the Housing Department is to fill the and occupy the units that are vacant. We're hoping by June 30th, that is our end of our fiscal year, and that is the number that we use for a lot of our scoring and financial information. Housing managers are conducting their annual recertification still. We're still on top of those. We have gotten extensions from HUD for that purpose, but we have not had to do that at this time. We've been able to do all business through phone and mail. It's been working out pretty good. Annual inspections are being postponed at this time, so that just means we're not going into the units to do any annual inspections. We go into everybody's unit at least once a year, but those are being postponed. The Housing Authority will be beginning our de minimis project within the next few days. That will be to demolish 3 buildings, 5 units. Housing manager, we are taking applications. If we want more people to apply for housing, because some of our waiting lists are not very long, so we need bigger families to apply. Right now, we have a total of, or at the end of last month, we had 86 applicants on the waiting list. We had 54 on our 0 to 1 bedroom. We had 17 on our 2 bedroom, 12 on our 3 bedroom, 2 on our 4 bedroom, and only 1 family on our 5 bedroom. So we do encourage people to apply for housing. They can get the income guidelines either by calling us or by doing a Google search for income guidelines in San Miguel County. Sometimes they don't think they qualify when they actually do it. Housing staff is still following the recommendations made by the City of Las Vegas as far as having opening slowly and doing distancing, social distancing, wearing the masks. And we will continue to listen to the city for information as well as that. That's all I have for my direct report right now.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Any questions? Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mr. Baca.
I'm just wondering, I haven't driven by the housing department lately, but are the tenants doing a good job in keeping up their properties, going along with the concern of the mayor and the councilors to beautify the city? Do they?
Chairman, Commissioners, right now we are kind of struggling as far as the weeds, and that's citywide, I believe.
Yeah.
As you know, the maintenance, we were kind of out of work or not in the office for a while. Then we brought back maintenance, and their priority, like I said, has been to fill the units, to be turning over the units so that somebody else can move into them.
Yeah.
The tenants are responsible for maintaining their own yards within their perimeter. The
Sure.
housing authority is responsible for the common grounds and open areas. We have not had a chance, but I did speak to our maintenance supervisor because I know that that has been a concern, and he's trying to make a schedule. But the priority right now is to fill the vacant
Sure.
units.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Moreno?
I had a question as far as the applications for the housing units. I know because of COVID, are we doing it online, the application process
Chairman,
online? or-
Commissioners, right now we are accepting applications either online. We can mail them out to anybody who requests one. We can meet them at the door to have them an application. We've been able to accept quite a few, not.
So is there a link online, I guess, is it? Or
Sorry?
how are we doing them online? Is there a link online or by email?
There
or-
is on the city's website where they can download it and print it
And then
and then
read it.
return it.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman, Commissioners. The next item on the agenda is the business items. And our first business item is disapproval of Resolution 20-23. A resolution of the City of Las Vegas acknowledging financial liability to Homing and Earth's Development and to repeal and replace Resolution number 20-05. And Natasha Martinez is presenting this.
Natasha?
Chairman, Commissioners, previously, we had Resolution 20-05, which acknowledged the responsibility, which was, there was a letter sent out to the city manager and the previous mayor pro tem that we had to acknowledge the debt that was in our quality assurance audit, our cost audit that came out. They did do that in Resolution 20-05, but when asked for the actual proof of what had been transferred, how it had been transferred, when it was budgeted, all of those questions came up from our program analyst at Housing and Urban Development. We weren't able, well, at the time, the finance director wasn't able to give them the answers or the proof. Thankfully, working with Ms. Romero, she was able to give me access to the general ledger where we had to research it. I worked with her and members of her staff as well to come up with numbers of actual amounts that had been transferred. We did see them going, pass through different funds and that kind of stuff. And that's why we're going to do that resolution to kind of just streamline everything. But there is a spreadsheet in the back and it'll show there was a check made for a church that was purchased for $150,656. Then in 2016, we had cash transfers of $10,000. We had a unit turnaround. We borrowed an employee from the streets department and we got to credit their salary to the in-kind services. We had a window project where city funds paid for 2 of the units. We got to use that as in-kind as well. For 2017 and 2018, we did cash transfers of $10,000. And then at the end of 2019, that's where this gets a little foggy. There was actual checks that were written, but then backed out, and then they weren't included in last year's audit. So that's what we're going to do with that budget resolution next week, is just correct all of this. So what we did was we took out the amounts that were budgeted and left those alone, and then got that $150,000 out of that. And then this year, there was $15,000 that was budgeted, but there was also that additional $150,000 that got transferred. So that gives us a total transfer for the previous repayment agreement of $516,851.84 as far as cash. And then we have that additional $14,555 And we took that away, taking that away from the $611.82 from the original repayment agreement, left us with an amount of $79,674.62, which is a little bit better than the previous repayment agreement, because when we acknowledged the liability back in February, we said that there was a balance of $90,425, when in all actuality, the city has transferred enough that the balance is actually $79,675, or $674.62. So now we're going to acknowledge it, repeal that last resolution, and then our city attorney also changed some of the wording. We worked with Mr. Aaron and as well as Ms. Griego with HUD to make sure that this resolution would fit perfectly into everything that they're asking to move forward as far as the repayment agreement in the future will go.
Thank you, Tasha.
I don't, the different administrations have wanted it differently. Would you like me to read the resolution, or do you guys?
No.
No? Oh.
It's not necessary. What's the pleasure of the council, of the commission?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
make a motion for approval of resolution number 20-23, a resolution of the city of Las Vegas acknowledging financial liability to the housing and urban development, and repeal and replace resolution number 20-05.
Second, Mr. Mayor.
We have a motion, Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Baca. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Uriari Jr.,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Baca,
Yes.
Commissioner Romero.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero and a second by Commissioner Baca. Thank you, Chairman. Motion carries. The next item on the agenda is the approval or disapproval of resolution 20-20 to adopt the 20-2021 Las Vegas Housing Authority budget by Natasha Martinez.
Natasha?
Chairman, Commissioners, the resolution, and then following the resolution is our budget for the 2020-2021 fiscal year. The Housing Authority for the two new, but not new commissioners, is that our program is completely federally funded. Therefore, our regulations state we have to get things done a little bit sooner than the city has to for local governments. So we bring to you guys our final budget prior to the prelim budget going, but our final budget does get included in the city's prelim and final budget. But it goes as stands in front of you today. I don't want to go into the details, but I will let you guys know that we did get $129,252 for COVID-19 for stimulus money. You will also see this in your bar next week. I was directed by Housing and Urban Development to put it in this year's budget as well as in next year's budget, because there's expenditures that are coming up prior to June 30th and expenditures that will be coming up after June 30th. And this is one of the stimulus payments. We don't know if this is all we're going to be getting, but so far this is the actual money in our accounts there on our ELOC system.
Perfect. What's the pleasure of the commission?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 20-20 to adopt the 2021 Las Vegas Housing Authority budget.
Second.
There's a motion by Mr. Romero, second by Mr. Uribarri. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Romero,
Yes.
Commissioner Montoya,
Yes.
Commissioner Baca,
Yes.
Commissioner Uriari Jr.
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero, a second by Commissioner Uriari Jr. Thank you, Chairman. Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is the Commissioner's report.
Commissioners?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, 6-7 months ago, we were looking at a wall between the city and Daylight Donuts. I've been kind of trying to see if the housing or City Las Vegas could do something about that wall that suits liability for the city. The housing authority doesn't have any signs for the kids or people that live around there. But that wall might give out anytime, you know. I think I asked Barbara and the housing authorities to see if they could do something about it.
Okay.
I would like to see if we can do something about it, you know, and see. And then on the, I call it Little Bottles, I was out there 4 days ago, and there's some real bad potholes in that area. I don't know if, Mr. Manager, if you could have your street guys go and check that out. And then on the Hot Springs area too, there's real bad potholes in that area. And then the woods around our housing authorities, they look bad, people go through and we've got people that live there and they want to have something green, but we could do something about it, Mr. Mayor, and go from there.
Thank you.
Thank you, girls, you guys are doing a good job, and keep it up.
Thank you. Commissioners? Nothing? No executive order, no executive sessions. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Romero.
Second?
Second by Mr. Ulibarri. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Montoya?
Yes.
Commissioner Baca?
Yes.
Commissioner Romero?
Yes.
Commissioner Ulibarri?
Yes.
I have a motion by Commissioner Romero, a second by Commissioner Ulibarri.
Thank you. Good job. Very good job, guys.